My best friend urged me to move out of my home and live on my own. She was also very active and enthusiastic in helping me find a house. I lived there for half a year and then I fell seriously ill and died. After I died, I learned that the house was a string house. My best friend turned out to be my father's illegitimate daughter. Everything she did was just for money. Back to the day when my best friend took me to see the house. This time I want her to pay the price. Shout I, look at how well the house is decorated. This is your favorite style. The price is not expensive and it is close to the community where I live. Otherwise, let's rent here. My best friend by seeming tried her best to persuade me, as if she was the agent. I glanced at the familiar and cheap decoration in the house, and a chill rose in my heart. How blind I must have been in my previous life to not see these cheap decorations and live in it willingly. After I moved in, I actually found out that it was by seeming who kept brainwashing me. It should be that they used slightly worse materials but they dared to rent it to others, so there must be no problem. Believe it, let's buy a formaldehyde tester. Don't worry, everyone lives like this, isn't it fine? Look how close we live now, isn't it super convenient to go shopping? And we don't have to listen to your mother's nagging anymore, how free it is. Later I was still worried, so by seeming took the initiative to buy a formaldehyde tester and came back to test it in front of me. The final result was of course no problem. I also thought about changing houses halfway through, but I didn't have time to look for one because I was working, so I asked by seeming to help me find one. This time he either said that he didn't have time or that there was no suitable one. In the end it was nothing. Until half a year later, I felt uncomfortable all over and went to the hospital for a checkup. I was diagnosed with leukemia and multiple organ failure of the liver and kidneys. At that moment my world fell. I didn't understand why I suddenly got such a serious illness when I was so young. Seeing that I didn't say anything, didn't move, and even walked to the door without a sound, by seeming became anxious. He took a few steps forward and pushed me. Shouty, say something. Are you so happy that you are silly? I didn't avoid him and turned around. I want to leave, I don't want to rent it. By seeming grabbed me and wouldn't let me go. Shout I, what are you doing? I finally found such a good house. Why are you leaving without saying a word? You should choose the right occasion to show your temper. Maybe I was too impatient, my voice was a little sharp. I stopped and looked back at him. I wanted to see how far he could direct and act by himself. My palms were itchy, I wanted to deal with the bitch, but I had to find a suitable excuse. Seeing that I was not leaving, by seeming smiled again, and he no longer cared about me. He turned around and said to the agent in the house, we will rent this house, let's sign the contract quickly. The agent looked at me, then at him and finally nodded. The two began to discuss the payment date of the rent, the term of the contract and other issues, and watched with their arms folded. After the discussion, by seeming pointed at me, and he paid the money. The agent walked towards me a little hesitant. I sneered, did I say I wanted to rent it? It was obviously him who wanted to rent it. Why did I have to pay? The agent was dumbfounded and turned back to look at By seeming. By seeming rushed over to Zhuang Xiaodai angrily. Why are you acting so strange today? Hurry up and pay the rent and deposit. Don't you have money? I pushed him away. You want to rent the house yourself, so you have to pay for it yourself. I didn't say I wanted to rent it, so I won't pay. The agent is also angry. You two are teasing me. By seeming's face turned blue. Zhuang Xiaodai, what are you doing? It was you who asked me to help you find a house. I worked so hard to find such a good house, and now you say no. Rent, have you ever considered my feelings? The agent also cast a blaming look at me. I smiled and suggested that I rent it, or I could move in and live with me. By seeming's eyes drifted and he said evasively, I have my own place to live, why should I squeeze with you? I won't come and you can live alone. I narrowed my eyes and slapped By seeming in the face. You want me to live in a house that you don't even live in? It's not enough to just slap him, so I slapped him a few more times, and saw his cheeks were red and swollen. I got up and then I stopped with satisfaction. When the agent came over, pulled me back a few steps, pointed at the cheap decoration and said, the house decoration is so cheap, who knows what materials are used? By seeming, do you really think I don't know what string house is? I think you are trying to kill me. What nonsense are you talking about? By seeming and the agent's voices sounded at the same time. I sneered. Do you dare to let me ask professionals to come for inspection? By seeming didn't say anything. The agent smiled and said, little girl, don't talk nonsense. Okay, don't make a fuss. I see that you two haven't discussed it yet. Come after you have discussed it. Let's go, I'm in a hurry to go to the next house. I left without looking back and turned back to go home. In my previous life when I was seriously ill, I wanted to hide it from my mother first, for fear that she would be sad. I didn't expect that By seeming would call my mother after I turned my back. And she was doing it for my own good. Shout I, don't make a fuss. You are so seriously ill, how can you hide it? It's better to tell your family as soon as possible, and let your parents send you to a good hospital for treatment. When he called my mother, he was driving when he heard the news. He panicked and had a car accident on the spot. He was seriously injured and was paralyzed in bed for half a year. Later, less than a month after my mother and I died, My father brought a woman into the house and inherited all my mother's property and lived a squandering life. And that woman was Bai Si-min. I only knew at that time that Bai Si-min was the illegitimate daughter of my father, and his childhood sweetheart. When I returned home and saw my mother who was still angry and had red eyes because I was moving out of the house, I threw myself into her arms and cried, which scared my mother to death. She thought something had happened to me and didn't even care about me running away from home. When I was acting coquettishly with my mother, my father came back with a dark face. When he saw me, he frowned and scolded me, saying, "Aren't you going to move out now that you're strong enough? Why are you back?" My father didn't have this attitude in his previous life. When he learned that I was going to move out to live alone in his previous life, my father was smiling and secretly gave me money. He said he was going out to exercise. It's okay for a while. Dad supports you. If you need money, tell Dad and Dad will give it to you. She also helped me persuade him. My mom said that the child has grown up and should go out to experience it. He can't be protected by his side all the time. How grateful I was to him at that time. Later, after his death, I followed Bai Si-min. Seeing him living in our house and being attentive to another woman, I felt so disgusted. Before I said anything, my mother immediately protected me behind her. "What are you talking about? Isn't it good that the child is back? You still want to drive my daughter out?" My dad looked at my mother's angry face and his expression eased. Didn't she look so righteous last night?" My mother's face also eased and she woke up. "Don't say anything, go cook." My daughter and I were talking dirty. Before we started eating, Bai Si-min came over with a face swollen like a bun and opened the door. When she saw Bai Si-min's face, she exploded. "Si-min, what's wrong with you? Why is your face like this?" Bai Si-min stood at the door and cried, "Uncle, I really didn't know that it was a string room. I just found out what chon chon fong is today." "You tell Xiaodai, I really didn't mean it." My dad's face darkened. "Si-min, you mean that Xiaoman beat you?" Bai Si-min looked as if she wanted to say something but stopped. Some neighbors heard the noise and started to stick their heads out to watch the fun. My mom said with a cold face that she had something to say and came in. My dad seemed to have just remembered at this time and let Bai Si-min in. Bai Si-min cried even harder when she saw my mom. "Auntie, I really didn't mean it. Xiaodai slapped me a few more times. I really didn't mean it. If I knew what chon chon fong was, I would never take you to see it even if you killed me. We have been together for so many years, don't you understand me?" My mom's face became even darker. "If you can't speak, just shut up. I haven't seen you make a clear statement after talking for a long time. Xiaodai, what's the matter?" In fact, my mom has never liked Bai Si-min very much, but she is just polite to her for my sake. I told her the previous events in a clear and orderly manner. My dad was angry. "Daozhuang Xiaodai, this is what I usually teach you. You haven't figured out the situation yet, but you've already attacked the people around you. You're so arrogant, I have to beat you up today and teach you a lesson." As he said that, he picked up the broom in the corner and really wanted to hit me. My mother stepped forward to stop him. "Huaming, you haven't shown off enough outside, so you come back to show off in front of me and my bestie, right?" My heart warmed. "Dad, I haven't finished yet." He deliberately insisted that I rent that apartment. I didn't say anything, so he went to the agent to finalize the contract. After that, I asked him to move in with me, but he didn't want to. How come he thinks I'm stupid? He doesn't live in the house, but he keeps moving in with me. Is there any problem? Most of the houses in that community are chain houses. I heard about it some time ago, but I didn't expect that Bai Si-min is so black-hearted. Bai Si-min looked scared. "Uncle and Aunt, I really don't know. I don't know anything. I didn't mean it." My dad put it down. Broom said unhappily. Si-min said she didn't mean it. "Why are you still holding on to this?" My mother said with a cold face. "Huaming, what do you mean you blame your daughter for this?" I also cried. "Dad, why do you always protect an outsider? Is she your daughter? Or am I your daughter? Do you really want me to live in a house like that and then get sick and finally die so that you can be happy?" My dad's face froze. "What are you talking about, kid? I'm just watching. I think you don't need to make a fuss. After all, didn't you rent that house?" And Si-min definitely didn't mean it. "You've been good friends for so many years." I saw my dad keep winking at Bai Si-min. Bai Si-min's face turned blue and white, white and blue. And she knelt on the ground with a plop. "And Xiaodai, I kneel down to you, kowtow to you to apologize. I really didn't mean it. Xiaodai and I have been friends for so many years. How could I hurt him or mislead him? If you really do something, you have to kowtow. Bai Si-min is not like this." I was so embarrassed. I immediately became alert and took a few steps forward to pull him up. "Bai Si-min, what are you doing? You make it seem like we are forcing you. I don't care if you did it on purpose or not. Our relationship ends here. I've also beaten you for this matter today. Forget it. We don't have to have any contact in the future. Go away. After all, he is not breaking the law now, and I can't do anything else. I can only pretend to take revenge." Bai Si-min came here to let my dad see the injuries on his face so as to win my dad's pity, which gave me an excuse to fan the flames in front of my mom. At night, I acted like a spoiled child and asked to sleep with my mom. Although my mom looked disgusted, she still agreed. Lying on the bed, I hugged his arm and said to him in confusion, Mom, why is my dad so strange today? He keeps defending by Siming, as if she is his daughter. My mom slapped my head and you only know it today. How many times have I told you, and you acted like you can't hear me? I was horrified. My mom saw the signs a long time ago but will hui to English, but there was no sound. I closed my eyes. It seems that using this to alert my mother will not work if I rashly tell her. She will definitely not believe it. I can only see it for myself. Tomorrow at noon is Bai Simin's birthday again. I have an idea in my mind. Then I think of Bai Simin's strange behavior in the afternoon. A light bulb goes off in my head. I remember that in my previous life when I closed my eyes, I only found out that Bai Simin had become a little internet celebrity. At the beginning he had acted a good show in front of me and netizens, and ate a lot of my blood buns. Could it be that he is actually a little internet celebrity now? Those contrived scenes in the afternoon, he secretly filmed them, took them out of context and made my mother and I be cyberbullied. Thinking of this possibility, I suddenly couldn't sleep. I quickly got up and sent a message to my cousin, explaining the situation, asking him to help me pay attention. Amid my mother's dissatisfied grumbling, I went back to bed and fell asleep. The next morning, my dad really said that he might be very busy today, and wouldn't be back for lunch. My mom didn't care since Grandpa and Grandma came in the past. After my dad took over the business from my grandpa, my mom didn't really care about the company's affairs. In her words, it was such a small company, what was there to care about? If he wanted to care, let him care. A man should always find something to do. I suddenly had an idea to show off my skills and make a loving lunch for my dad. I didn't have a good attitude yesterday, so I'll take it as an apology to my dad. After Mom delivered the meal to my dad, we went out to eat and then went shopping in the mall. My mom tapped my nose and said, "The latter sentence is your purpose." I didn't argue but pulled her to act coquettishly, and finally she agreed. I didn't pay much attention to cooking anyway. It would end up in the trash can. There was no difference between doing it well or badly. What's the matter with Huaming not coming to the company today? My mom is conceited. I feel like her eyes are about to spit fire, but her face is still expressionless. The girl at the front desk didn't recognize my mom, and didn't even raise her eyelids. Isn't it normal that Mr. Hu didn't come because of something? Don't block it here. Come tomorrow if you have something. Mr. Hu won't come to the company today. My mother took out her cell phone and was about to call my father, but I stopped him and pulled him out of the company. Mom, Dad, this situation is not right. You can ask him but don't alert the enemy. My mother took a deep breath, nodded at me and dialed the number. Huaming, where are you? I'm in the company. Where else can I be? Have you eaten? My mother was about to speak, but I interrupted her with a smile. No, Dad. How about we go to your company and have a meal outside as a family? We haven't eaten outside together for a long time. Dad quickly refused. I'm busy today. I'll just have a bite at noon. How can I have time to accompany you for dinner? You and your mom should eat by yourselves and have a good meal. After saying that, she seemed to think of something and asked a few more questions. Where should we go to eat? I perfunctorily reported a place far away from his current location. My mother calmed down, said a few more tentative words and hung up the phone. My father didn't say a word of truth. Mom, let's go eat and then go shopping. I pulled my mother, just leave. My mother hit me on the head hard. Your father obviously has a problem, you have no conscience. I covered my head and ran away for a while. My mother's mood was obviously relieved. Mom, my father may have some unspeakable secrets. It is not convenient to share. What do you say? You can check it quietly, and you can be sad after you have the result. Now let's go to eat first and then go shopping. Don't worry, nothing will happen. Your daughter is with you. Don't worry your mother. I am an invincible beauty. I want to eat private dishes. My mother took me to drive for half an hour and went to the restaurant where our family often goes. I'm sorry, ma'am, the private room you mentioned is already in use. My mother and I looked at each other after hearing the extremely polite answer from the front desk, because my father likes this restaurant very much, so he asked the manager to reserve a private room all year round, but my mother and I don't like it very much, so we seldom come. Seeing my mother was about to rush in with a dark face, I quickly pulled her out. Mom, calm down. Everything must be based on evidence. We are not. We should check the surveillance first and collect some evidence. In case we need a divorce or something, we can't fight an unprepared battle. My mother rolled her eyes at me. What can a timid person like you do? Don't worry, I know what's going on. It's not just an impulse. As my mother said this, she pulled me and walked in calmly. There are also small private rooms. I want another one. This private room is often reserved by our family. I think my husband is bringing his friends to eat. I went to say hello later. The face of the receptionist became a little strange. Finally, they gave us another private room. My mother ordered the dishes and asked for a bottle of wine, and then went to the private room where my father was. I thought about it and turned on the video recording function of the mobile phone before. When the door opened, I saw a woman whispering with my father with her head down. The two were very close to each other. Bai Simin had her back to us and kept picking up dishes for the two. Dad, thank you and Mom for giving me life and for coming to accompany me on my birthday. I am so happy that my dad looked up and saw that my mom and I were in panic. He stood up abruptly, took a few steps back and moved away from the woman. Then he hurried to the door and said, "Wife, why are you here?" My mom's face was full of sneers. Don't come, don't come. How did you know that your daughter has grown up so big? I'm very happy today. It turns out that my husband gave birth to such a big daughter outside. Wife, please listen to my explanation. My dad came forward to grab my mom, but my mom pushed him away and walked to the table. There are so many dishes on the table. They are quite expensive, right? It feels great to use my family's money to support a mistress and an illegitimate daughter, right? Don't make a fuss, my wife. Simin and his mother have had a hard time these years. I help them out occasionally. They are grateful to me, so they call me Dad. In the end, he couldn't continue making up stories and stopped. I sneered at him. In front of me and my mom, why didn't he call me Dad? Why did he call you Uncle? Dad turned around and glared at me. It's a matter between adults. Why are you, a child, arguing about it? My mom slapped my dad a few times. On her face, Huaming, you are so shameless. You are doing something shameless. Why are you yelling at your daughter? She is pitiful, right? She is not your biological child, right? Sure. Let's do a paternity test now and let science speak. Daytime only reacted at this time and walked to my dad with a vigilant face. You can just talk. Why did you start to fight? As he was about to go to check my dad's injuries, my dad turned his face away. His hands froze in place. Bah. Who is your sister? Put away your disgusting look. My mother only gave birth to me. During the day, her face turned pale when it was dark. Simin started crying at this time. Dad, just tell them frankly that I am your daughter, and my mother is your sweetheart. You have worked like a cow and a horse for their banker for so many years. The child cannot have your surname, and we mother and daughter cannot show up. I've had enough of this kind of life. I grew up and couldn't call you dad in front of others. Do you know how much I envy those classmates who can go out to play with their fathers on weekends? Every time it's my birthday, I can only secretly I'm not going to say goodbye to you. I'm just a bitch. I don't like you. I'm just a bitch. I'm not going to say goodbye to you. I'm just a bitch. I'm not going to say goodbye to you. I'm just a bitch. I'm not going to say goodbye to you. I'm just a bitch. I'm not going to say goodbye to you. I'm just a bitch. I'm not going to say goodbye to you. I'm just a bitch. I'm not going to say goodbye to you. I was moved. Yes, by Tian and I have been together for more than 20 years. She is my first love. Simin is my daughter. My father said directly. My mother sneered and said divorce. You have to leave the house. My father's eyes were red, and he pretended to be heartless. I have worked hard for your banker for so many years. Just because of such a small thing, you want to divorce me and leave the house. You must be so proud. Now I am in charge of the company's affairs. It is not certain who will leave the house. I saw that my mother had no expression on her face. My father was too soft. Wife, in fact, I just made the mistake that all men make. Please forgive me this time. I will give Bai Tian some money and I will never see him and see Mian again. You haven't been involved in the company's affairs for many years. If I leave, it will be a mess. Bai Tian on the side also cried and mentioned, it's all my fault, it's my fault. Sister, if you want to punish me, punish me. You and brother Hua should be good. Then I will feel at ease. I will kneel down for you and admit my mistake to you, okay? I was so disgusted that I grabbed the dish on the table and poured it on Bai Tian. You really think you are a dish? Bai Tian let out a piercing scream. I fell down and the slap came to me. My head tilted slightly and the slap landed on my shoulder. My mother was crazy. She was going to take the dishes on the table and smash them on my father. Huaming, you bully me enough, and you want to bully my daughter. I will fight with you. My dad was beaten up, but he still protected him. Bai Tian also ran over to protect him. His mother was beaten by me. I kicked her several times secretly and slapped her many times. The room was in chaos until a waiter pushed open the door and screamed. Then everyone in the room stopped. My mother pulled me and prepared to leave. We still had to eat, not to mention we had ordered a table full of dishes. I served the rice and tried my best to pick up dishes for my mother. Her eyes were red at this moment. I sighed and said, Mom, I had a dream. My mother didn't understand. I told her everything about my past life, including what happened after death. Finally, I choked and said, Mom, this. Thinking about the dream carefully, it is terrifying. It says that I couldn't save face yesterday, or I listened to Bai Simin's words and rented that house. If I live in a house like that for a long time, I will definitely get sick. Then what happened next is consistent with this dream one by one. I was also in the dream. I knew that my father often brought Bai Simin and her daughter to eat here. Today is Bai Simin's birthday, so I thought of coming here to try my luck. Unexpectedly, my mother hugged me in her arms and said in a crying voice, Xiao Dai, the child has suffered, Mom is here. Just this one sentence made my tears fall, and my heart, which was suspended in the air, inexplicably settled down. I lay in his arms and acted coquettishly, scolding you for being confused, right? It was all a dream. There is no suffering or not. This interruption made my mother's mood much better. The two of them turned their grief and anger into strength and supported my mother. What are you going to do next? My mother narrowed her eyes and divorced. The shares of the company are in your name and mine. Your father only has 3%. Even if he joins other shareholders, it will be useless. I will immediately collect evidence of his cheating. If he plays any tricks, then I will just file for divorce. Anyway, I will follow you and you will not follow me, so are you going to divorce your father? After I was born, my mother started to get busy. My father came back and begged my mother with tears, but he never came back after being beaten out by my mother. He blatantly went out with the mistress, and my mother had no reaction to this. I uploaded the video to the social platform that night, but mine was just a new account with no fans and very few recommendations. I didn't care. At the same time, I also sent the video to By-Seemin's fiancé, the second son of the Gu family. By-Seemin's liking for Guaer is not a 1 or 2 day thing. In her previous life, she often took me and met Guaer from time to time. Guaer and I were high school classmates. We knew each other but were not familiar with each other. But because of him, we became more familiar with each other. Later, By-Seemin directly told me that she liked Guaer, and asked me to help him with ideas to pursue Guaer. I was a stubborn and silly girl back then, and as a good girlfriend, I naturally put in 120% of my effort. Angry at this point in time, Guaer should be about to agree to date him. Isn't he bent on using me to climb into a wealthy family and become a wealthy wife? Then I'll kill him first. Sure enough, this road didn't last long. Guaer replied to my message with a question mark. I ignored him and blocked him. After all, in his previous life, Guaer finally married By-Seemin. He was an enemy, not a friend. On the third day, I saw his new video on By-Seemin's internet celebrity account. It was a video of him editing everything about that day, including the clip of him kneeling down to me at my house a few days ago. It turned out to be my mother, who rushed in and beat people without knowing right from wrong and swearing at them. The caption was, "Don't marriage mean you don't deserve to have friends? We just had a meal together, and we have to suffer such malice and attacks." He has a lot of fans and his popularity has risen all of a sudden. The comments were all comforting By-Seemin and cursing my mother. People with dirty thoughts think dirty things. Look how pitiful our Cece is, and she was forced to kneel down. Is this the face of rich people? It's so disgusting. I dug it out. This mother and daughter are not rich. They have a small company at home, which can only be regarded as medium assets. What's so great about it? I will scold her to death for treating our Cece like this. By-Seemin also tagged me in the comment section, but I ignored it and let the matter ferment. She wanted to use public opinion to crush me and my mother to death. I also wanted to use it. I smiled and was waiting for this moment. I ignored By-Seemin and quit the software company. I have already taken a month off there, so I don't have to go to work at all now. My mother handles my father's affairs. I am happy to be free, change clothes, put on makeup, go out shopping and make up. I spent my last days in the hospital and on the sickbed. Only then did I realize how precious life is and how fresh the air of freedom is. When I finished shopping contentedly and went home, it was evening. By-Seemin's video had already become a hot search, with insults and accusations, including quarrels in the comments section. There were also a lot of messages under my account video and 99 private messages. My mother replied tiredly. I replied to the message that By-Seemin loved me and said, "I'm fine." The next day, I replied to the message that By-Seemin loved me and said, "I'm fine." The next day, I replied to the message that By-Seemin loved me and said, "I'm fine." The next day, I replied to the message that By-Seemin loved me and said, "I'm fine." The next day, I replied to the message that By-Seemin loved me and said, "I'm fine." The next day, I replied to the message that By-Seemin loved me and said, "I'm fine." The next day, I replied to the message that By-Seemin loved me and said, "I only loved and loved my small account and left the truth. The eyes of the masses are sharp." Then I logged out and shut down the phone and had a good sleep. When I looked at my phone the next day, Kong Rant's small account had quickly gained hundreds of thousands of followers, and the messages and private messages were all 99 plus. I took a quick look. Some people said that my video was synthesized. It was obviously fake at first glance. The one who slandered our Cece was, "This blogger was too disgusting." He bullied others and spread such rumors in return. But there were very few such people. Most of them still maintained their rationality. They cursed By-Seemin in a hurry and went to By-Seemin's account. Sure enough, it was all abusive words. How powerful the netizens were before, how angry my mother and I were at this moment. I laughed. The reality newspaper was so cool, but it was not enough. By-Seemin came to my house and acted like Xiao Dai at my door. "You're too vicious. You spread rumors about me, saying that I was an illegitimate daughter, and ran to my boyfriend and said that he wanted my boyfriend to break up with me. How can you be so vicious?" I cried while holding my mobile phone, either filming or live streaming. I invited him into the house very politely and caught a glimpse of his hand from the corner of my eye. The screen of the phone was live streaming. How much courage did it take? Or was there any trick up her sleeve? As soon as she entered the room, By started complaining and crying about everything from when we met in elementary school to the various hardships she had endured to please me later. However, I did not regard him as a friend, but only as a servant. I threw my leftover clothes, skincare products and bags to him, and said that I loved lying the most and always asked him to lie for me. Seeing that he did not give me a chance to speak, I roughly understood what he meant. He wanted to stop me from having a chance to speak and to hammer me to death once again. I calmly poured him a glass of water, then went back to the room and took out my parents' marriage certificate, opened it and placed it on the coffee table in front of By-and then placed the evidence of By-Tion and my father's love for so many years that my mother had found out during this period on the coffee table. By-and panicked when she saw this, and she did not dare to look at her phone with her hands. On the coffee table he pointed it straight at my face. I smiled and reached out to grab his phone. He wanted to come over to grab it, and I said coldly, if you make a scene again at this time your White Lotus persona will collapse. By-and froze and greeted the people in the live broadcast room. I won't say much for now, let me show you something. Then I switched the camera and pointed it at the marriage certificate and those materials. By-and reacted and wanted to grab it again. By-and is live broadcasting now, are you sure you want to grab it? The next moment By-and still pounced on him and didn't embarrass him. The moment just now was enough. Anyway, I will make up for it later. By-and quit the live broadcast and screamed to hit me. Unfortunately, I was very strong. I took martial arts classes for a few years when I was a child, so I naturally abused him again. As soon as By-and left, I also started a live broadcast. I didn't broadcast anything else, but my parents' marriage certificate and my father's affair. At the same time, I also posted a video, showing the defamatory materials that my mother had compiled these days, as well as the lawyers. Now all of By-and tricks were invalid. No one would speak for her this time. There were even a few radical fans who were fooled by him again and again. They were so angry that someone found out his address and went to his house to throw paint and even threatened him. I didn't expect that By-and would blame all the bad things on me. Ever since By-and made a fuss that time, my mother was worried about me living alone in that house, and asked me to move in with him. He recently lived in a small apartment near the company, and he was very busy every day. I wanted to help but he wouldn't let me, saying that I couldn't do anything. After a few days I wanted to take care of his health, but he took care of me instead, making himself more tired. After a few days I packed up my things and went home. I went to my hometown in the countryside. My mother had no objection to this. She said that I should stay there for a while to relax and come to see me after she had finished talking to my father. There were not many people in the village, mostly old people and children. Occasionally, a few young people saw me and immediately surrounded me and asked me about the video. I was a little helpless. I explained for a while and then I didn't like to go out much. I was awakened by the heat that night. It was September, and the countryside was not hot at all. A few days ago I took out all the quilts. I opened my eyes in a daze and was shocked. I didn't know when the house caught fire and the fire had spread. Fortunately, the room had been renovated and had an independent bathroom. I found a thin blanket, wet it and put it on my body and covered it with a wet towel. Then I opened the door and rushed out, but the courtyard door couldn't be opened. It was obviously locked from the outside. My heart was burning with anger. Not only in the yard, but also at the base of the wall outside the yard. They really wanted to burn me to death. I ran out. If I remember correctly, there was a dog hole at the base of the backyard wall. When the house was renovated, I didn't let my mother block it. Seeing the dog hole was still there, I breathed a sigh of relief and crawled out of the dog hole. I saw a black shadow flash by in the distance. Then a neighbor discovered the fire and came to help put out the fire. They decisively called the police. When my grandparents got old, they wanted to move back to their hometown and didn't let my parents accompany them. My mother was worried, so she installed surveillance cameras around the yard. The kind of independent network surveillance cameras the connected mobile phone should be with my mother. I immediately called my mother, and my mother rushed over in the afternoon to cooperate with the police. After watching the surveillance, it was by Seamean. I guessed it right. Seamean was sent to prison by my mother for arson and defamation, and was sentenced to 15 years. By-Tion heard this. The news was crazy, forcing my dad to save by Seamean. Although my dad had deducted a lot of money over the years before he was released, he didn't have many subordinates compared to my mom. According to his plan, he would proceed step by step, just like in his previous life, and steadily acquire my and my mom's lives, and then reap the benefits. Now the plan has been broken, and the transferred property is not enough. He was already unhappy. By-Tion made a fuss with him, and the two naturally quarreled. My dad ignored him directly. After By-Tion collapsed, he braked my dad's car. He originally wanted my dad to die alone, and then take my dad's current property, and then used by Simin's identity as an illegitimate daughter to get a share of the inheritance. Unexpectedly, my dad suddenly insisted on taking him out that day, saying it was to relax. Tion naturally didn't dare to take the tampered car. He could only say that he had to go to the company later and drive a car by himself. My dad didn't suspect anything. 2 people drove out each in a car. As a result, my dad took the wrong road and tried to turn around on the winding mountain road. The brakes broke and they rushed straight to Tion, killing both of them. When my mom told me the news, I couldn't help but laugh. It was not unfair for him to suffer the consequences of his own actions. My mom said that she didn't want to get involved with my dad anymore, and was planning to give him some property as a reward for his hard work over the years. Unexpectedly, this happened. She lost her husband and didn't have to get a divorce, which was a good deal for her. He said that when my dad got into trouble, the police found him for investigation as soon as possible. He suspected that he had done something wrong, but after checking, they found that Tion had been fooled. It was laughable and sad, and I couldn't help but sigh that it's all your fault. I held my mom's arm, looked at the sunshine outside the window, squinted my eyes, passed that hurdle, and the road ahead will be smooth. It's great. The whole article is over.